And Dr. Pillai is a recipient of the
At the outset, I want to thank FOMAA for this brilliant opportunity, and Anna for the lovely introduction. To all of you in this room, if I told you you had enough money in your bank, maybe $5 or $10 billion when you started your career, how many of you would think of quitting what you're doing presently and do something that would make you happy? I see a few people have two hands up. So when you're born, you come into a family, not your choice. You get a set of parents, not your choice, a few siblings, a bunch of relatives, not at all your choice. And then you go to they give you a name, not your choice. You go to a school, you get a few teachers, some friends, not much your choice. And the moment you enter school, every auntie that you come across is going to come and ask you, well, what do you want to be when you grow up? So you go from a truck driver to a cop to a hairdresser to a firefighter, and life goes on. But the moment you hit 16, they're going to ask you to make a choice. So far, you had no choice. If you wanted to go to the bathroom, you had to ask your parents or your teachers for permission. But as soon as you're 16, they're going to ask you to make a choice. Not just a choice, the most important choice of your life, your career choice. A choice that will decide how you live your life from age 25 to maybe age 70, and a choice that is going to determine the quality of that life. And not even that, they're going to tell you, because this is the most important choice that you'll ever make in your life. This choice needs to be based on what your personality is. It needs to be based on what your value systems are. It needs to be based on how you see your life 10 years from now. Everything sounds so wonderful. The only problem is you have no clue about any of this at age 16. You don't know how you're going to be 10 years from now. You don't know where life is going to take you. You don't even know who you're going to be spending your life 10 years from now at that point. So as usual, you turn to your daddy and say, Dad, so far everything I decided was based on what you told me, so let's make a decision. So Dad is going to say, obviously, son, this is the most important decision of your life. So let's sit down and talk. So what are the interests? What do you like? Oh, Dad, I'm so good with my hands, and every time I play on my computer console, I can beat anybody. I really am very good at soccer. I represent school in the school team, in the soccer team. I actually went to level 4 in the county music festival in jazz. I really love photography for a hobby. I love reading world history. So Dad is going to say, my son, I'm so proud of you. You're such a multi-talented guy. So we have to have the best job for you. Actually, me and Mom were talking about it a few days ago, and we decided you should go to pre-med and become a doctor. So the kid is going to say, like, why? What is that got to do anything with my passion? I said, that's okay, Beta, you just become a doctor. Once you because as parents we have children that age, so we can very well relate to that. You just become a doctor, make money, and then you do whatever you want. This is a very typical conversation we have, and 80% of the people unfortunately make this choice at age 16 because someone told them to do so. And that's why somebody wants to raise both hands when I ask them if I gave you that option to learn out of what you're doing right now. So let's just go back one step and that thing. Why this market? The reason you want to listen to someone at that age is because you don't know how to find a purpose for that passion you have. You want to do something very creative, very productive, but you don't know how to fit in your passion into a productive lifestyle. Now, if you go back and ask the dad why he told his son who has no interest in medicine to become a doctor, he's going to say, that's because I want my child to be happy. Now, why do you think your child will be happy when he has no interest in anything to do with healthcare? Because if he becomes a doctor, he's going to have everything. He's going to make money, he'll have everything. And when he has everything, he'll be automatically happy. That's what the parents think. Now, the only problem with that is you can never be happy based on something you have. There has never been a person who ever became happy because he had everything. When you have this much, you want a little bit more. When you have this much more, you want a little bit more. And the basic human psyche is like we crave for something only until we have it. The moment you have it, you get bored of it and you crave for something else. So that keeps you, your target keeps changing. You will never become happy because you have something Let's just reverse this and think of it the other way around. You know, if you want to be happy, or let's start with being happy. If you are happy, you will put yourself completely into what you do. And when you use all your potentials, all your capabilities, your impact will be so much that there is no way anybody can resist you. You are going to be so valuable in what you do. At the beginning of my talk, I said if you want to quit your job, I would still tell you like quit your job and let's start working. Why the word job comes from a root, job. Job just means luck. You take this from here and put it here. Take from here, put it here. That's really what a lot of people do in a monotonous job. You have an input to work on, you create an output. But the word work comes from the root earth. So those of you who have learned physics here, earth means a gram is a force that's needed to move a gram across a centimeter. So your work should be like that. It has to be a force. It has to create an impact. And when you create an impact, you make everything. You become so valuable that people want to retain you. They give you whatever you want to have you. This is like a running race, I say, because when you want to run, you really don't work on the finishing point. You actually work on your legs. You work on your breathing. You work on your time, and the running happens automatically. So this is what your job skill development should be like. You equip yourself so much. You make yourself so valuable that nobody can resist you. That they want you. They need. They give you what you want, and you eventually have everything. So be happy, do it, and then have everything. Now, if there was a success, if there was a buzzword in FOMAA in a meeting like this, that would be success, right? Everybody is talking about being a successful entrepreneur, successful investor, a successful business person. What is to write your success story as a young professional or a youngster coming into a career? I always say you should know the devil. Everybody has this mind. Which devil should I know? I know a few levels, but D actually stands for discovering yourself. Know what makes you unique. And how do I know what makes me unique? What is it that you do that people consistently come and thank you for? If Harriet says a joke, if Rekha choreographs a dance, or if Rajesh does a presentation, people will come and consistently thank you for. And that is really what your uniqueness, because that is what you do a little better than everybody else. And that's what the world wants from you. So identify what that uniqueness is. That is D. E stands for your exposure. You should be in a job that will give you that exposure, where you can bring that unique talent out of you. You may be a good analyst, you may be a good communicator, you may be a good people's person. Whatever that is, that uniqueness has to be exposed at work, and that's the only way people will come to know you. The other thing is for experience. Early in your career, don't think I finished my studies and I'm working now. It has to be a continuum. You move on, you learn a little bit more. Be at a job where you have mentors, you can learn from somebody else. So that's the E. V is for your value systems. Value systems in young professionals are very important, because this is the time in your life when you know, do you want to raise your children? What kind of neighborhood do you want to live in? What kind of house do you want? What kind of car do you drive? Would you entrust a babysitter or your mother-in-law to raise your children, or do you want to really raise your children yourself? Do you want to take care of your elderly parents? Sunil was saying like how important it was for him to take care of his dad at a certain point. So all those value systems decide what you do for a career. That is the V in your life. I stands for introspect, and that is probably one crucial point that I want to tell the young professionals, because always think that you made a choice based on something somebody said at age 16, whatever, but you always have to periodically introspect what you're doing. Is this really what I wanted to do? If that is not, be bold to make a change. All of us come to crossroads, and as your opportunities increase, as you get exposed to a different set of values, as you get exposed to a different scenario, you know more things, you know more opportunities are there, you know your skill sets are different. It's okay to change course and then take a deviation. If you don't, this career is actually like a ladder. You're going to put all your effort, you're going to put your sweat, you're going to would put so many years of your hard work only to climb that ladder, and by the time you get to the top, you don't want to realize that your ladder was against a wall that you did not want to climb in the first place. So if you think you need to make a deviation in your career, you need to do that early on. So that's one very important thing. Because, the reason a lot of youngsters are hesitant to do that is because they think, making a career change is about starting it all over. It's not starting it all over, it's not a new beginning, it's actually just a different path, so you have a beautiful ending. That's all that matters. At 60, where are you? At 55, where are you? That beautiful ending, if you want it, be bold to make a change or a switch at 35 if you have to. And last but definitely not the least, it's the L, because I always say it has to be a continuum of learning. Career is learning every day. You have to learn a new thing from somebody, from an experience. Because if you ask a young person, why do you want a career? That's because I want to earn. Okay, you want to earn, you go through life. But if you learn, you grow through life. And that growth is what we call success in a different way. Because you have to learn and you have to grow. If you don't grow, you're stuck somewhere and it becomes monotonous. And like I said, why do you have to grow? Because think of it, if your life is 3 8-hour shifts, your 1 8-hour is you're sleeping anyway, and the other 8 hours, the majority of your time, 1/3 of your life is actually spent at work. And if you're working in America, you're probably working longer hours. You're working 10 hours. You're working 12 hours. So it's a lot of time of your life that you spend at work, and essentially that really becomes your life itself. So when you come back home from work, your spouse will ask you, what happened at work today? The more important question is, what happened to you at work today? How did work treat you? Is your work celebrating you or just tolerating you? If you are at a workplace where everybody says, here she comes, you don't want to see her anymore. At the same time, are you at a workplace where everybody is like, here she comes, let's ask her, let's get her input, let's ask how she would solve the situation. So you want to be at a place where you are celebrated. So that it's very important that life does something good to you. Work does something good to you rather than you contributing a little bit to work, because that's what happiness is all about. Now, I always ask people, do you look at yourself as a finished product, or do you look at yourself as a work in progress? We always think of ourselves as a work in progress because we have things to improve every day. We make a little change, and that applies to career also. If you make a little change in your career, if you make a little change in your work every day, you'll be that good in no time, because that improvement will slowly keep adding on. And when you listen to the business people this morning, I know all of you who are professionals probably would have thought, oh my God, I want to quit my job and start a business on my own, because it sounds so lucrative, right? You just go hit something big and then you become a big guy. But to all of you Paka professionals like me, I want to tell you, I'm going to give you a business to do, because your career itself is your business. You just have to become the CEO and manage it very properly. Manage it so well that itself is a business. Every day is a little bit of an improvement. And my take-home message for all of you here is don't stop until you hit big. You have to, that hitting big in your career is when you're very proud of who you are. And to all of you youngsters who your parents advised you to go into payment and want to become doctors like me, keep improving yourself to the point that you're very proud of what you do. I leave you here. Thanks for your listening.